enjoy the show, play on Perjangers.
Welcome, Wallhangers. Another Mattcast here for everyone to enjoy because we got some stuff for you here. Even starting off from the rip, just the stuff that I've been watching, man. I've been keeping up on this anime season, and Demons of the Shadow Realm is really coming along nicely. Coming along very nicely. I'm digging what Demons of the Shadow Realm did with just introducing the two main characters, the brother and sister, together. Really nice actual development for the characters there, which was really cool. Looking out at the other thing, which is big right now. I think it came out just after I recorded Mattcast last week. Punisher. One Last Kill. Man, I'm kind of split on this one, honestly, because I've seen, I've seen the internet pretty much like that both ways around. Some people liking what they see of the One Last Kill, because with all of these characters that were in the Netflix verse, that's where you really got to you got to accept projects like this. They didn't turn it into a series. They left it into a standalone, hey, this is Punisher. And even in the Netflix series, that Punisher was still way different than the Punisher we got in the comics. One comic fan, because I was looking at a post from Mark McKenna, and one comic fan was mentioning how that Punisher at the end of this special presentation, as Marvel puts it, is more along the lines of the Punisher in the comic, because he is this guy who will not put up with, the criminals and the dregs that he takes down. He doesn't see he's doing anything wrong. He is freeing the world of these people, and that's the point of the Punisher character. So it's getting more along in the lines of just continuing John Bernthal's adaptation of it, because I love what he did, especially because there were a lot of moments in the special that I was like, wow, this is really good. This is like the PTSD moments when he's working out his own inner monologue. He's seeing his daughter. He's seeing his old squad mates. He's trying to make heads and tails of everything and where he goes, because he's done it. He's, taken out everybody who had anything to do with his family's murder. So now he's coming into his own new Punisher. He doesn't know his direction in life and where to go. And then this disabled woman just shows up saying, I hate you. And he's like, you know what? I think I know what I got to do now. Yeah. There was plenty of action towards the end of it, to where the action scenes alone were fantastic, but the overall point of it, I think a lot of people kind of but didn't really see the point or the plot of it a little bit there. So that's where I kind of say, it's one of those things that I think it was good for what it was. It was a reintroduction to the character. This is Punisher. This is what we have for him. And, just sit back and enjoy the fun. Because there's a lot of high octane energy, especially when the woman's sending all those killers after him in the high rise. There's a lot of really good action in there, a lot of good sniping and all that. So it was good, but it's once again, like I said, I think in a podcast previously, is that it's more just along the lines of just getting you ready for a brand new day, and the 15-minute cameo spot he's going to send, be in it. And we've probably seen the best part of Frank Castle in that, one trailer. I'm going to call it, because that's, expect Marvel to be down around here, and you'll be happy with that decision, or you'll be, like, see, I told you it was going to be down around here. You're not going to be disappointed. That was my point. I like the point of this first story. Scientists say mini black holes could be hiding in your home. I know. They're right there looking at you. but the idea of primordial black holes existing within our solar system or even close is a mind-bending hypothesis currently being explored by theoretical physicists. These microscopic remnants of the Big Bang could theoretically pass through solid matter without us ever noticing. While the image depicts a living room filled with tiny swirling black holes, I'll try to grab that image and pop it in here for you. So while the image depicts a living room filled with swirling gravitational voids, actual mini black holes would be smaller than an atom. Despite their tiny size, they would possess a mass of an entire mountain anchored by an intense gravitational pulse. Scientists are investigating whether these microscopic entities could account for dark matter, the mysterious substance that makes up most of the universe's mass. If they do exist, they would be zipping through space at an incredible speeds, rarely interacting with visible matter. So it's not like you got to worry about them like, oh my God, my liver. You know, I don't know why I grabbed my heart for when I said my liver, but anywho, don't worry about your furniture being sucked into a void just yet. Physics of Hawking radiation suggests that smallest black holes would evaporate almost instantaneously. This means even if one visited your home, its lifespan would be shorter than a camera flash. Space remains the final frontier of mystery, and sometimes the most profound secrets of the cosmos might be closer than we think. So this is a fascinating little article of talking about just primordial black holes and this newer kind of theory that from the Big Bang, these microscopic atom-size black holes are actually in your living room right now, and you don't even know it. So how's that for something old and new? But what about something just old? A remarkable set of 13,000-year-old animal bone needles discovered in Wyoming is giving archaeologists a vivid glimpse into Ice Age survival. Found at Mammoth Hunting Base, the needles show that early people in North America were not just hunting large animals, but also making tailored clothing and survival gear to cope with the extreme cold. That matters because clothing is one of the most important technologies in human history. Fur, hide, and sewn garments would have helped people endure harsh winters, travel farther, and live in environments where survival depended on skills such as strength. Where survival depended, not dependent, like it was on this and that, but it was dependent on skill as much as strength. I got to read all the words for you. But these tiny tools reveal a sophisticated understanding of materials, heat, and daily life in the Ice Age. Finds like this, they kind of, it's just like those old pictures in your textbook. When you saw things 13,000 years ago, maybe they had like a fur skirt, and, titties hanging all out. What shame. They make your ancestors look like knuckle-dragging morons. But a 13,000-year-old needle, dude. Like, 13,000 years old. This bone needle showing that they were able to, one, get the fibers because they had to have thread to weave and sew these two hides together. So you have rope and, thread, needles, clothing. They were manipulating wood and stone at that time as well. So how far off were we, when you're looking at it? Because I was looking at one thing. It was, farming happened right outside of Göbekli Tepe. So you have these people at 13,000 years ago. These guys in this story are in Wyoming. So this is 13,000 years ago, well before the pyramids or anybody were building anything. These guys were still sewing together their own clothes just so they could stay a little bit warmer. So a lot of really interesting finds are coming out of Wyoming right now, especially early clothing. That is exactly the kind of stuff that, we should be looking for. These little bits of innovation of, everyday materials to show us what the world was actually like. Hunting, gathering, they made it seem very basic and elemental when they're describing it to you, but go out in the woods and determine what kind of mushroom you can eat. I'll wait, okay? Because that's the kind of knowledge. Being able to make your own clothes. Half the people around here in the world today could not even begin to tell you the first thing they need to make their own clothes. So, passed down knowledge may have been passed down a lot further than we thought. So, love that little bit of the blast from the past with that story. A lot like this next one. Scientists fired a laser into storm clouds and redirected the lightning bolts like Zeus. No, this didn't happen today. For centuries, the best tool humanity had against lightning was a pointed metal rod invented by Benjamin Franklin in 1752. That is, until now. Oh, maybe it was now. Scientists have successfully used a high-powered laser beam, of course this is now, to steer and guide lightning bolts, essentially playing Zeus with the weather. So this is so fascinating. Yeah, this is definitely not something that happened in the past. You definitely had to have lasers. Okay, that happened today. That actually, yeah, that does make sense. A team of physicists led by researchers from École Polytech and the University of Geneva set up an extraordinary experiment atop Santis Mountain in the northeastern Switzerland. They placed a powerful femtosecond laser next to a 124-meter tall telecommunication tower that gets struck by lightning over 100 times a year. Over several months of thunderstorms in 2021, the laser fired rapid pulses 1,000 times per second, creating thin hair width channel of ionized low-density air stretching past the tower's tip. The results were remarkable. During 4 recorded lightning strikes, while the laser was running, each bolt followed the laser's path before jumping to the tower, meaning scientists successfully controlled the final trajectory of real natural lightning for the first time. The findings were published in the Journal of Nature Photonics. Previous attempts to steer lightning using lasers in New Mexico in 2004, Singapore in 2011 had failed because older lasers could not maintain a stable channel in turbulent, stormy air. The key breakthrough here was the laser's firing rate. 1,000 pulses per second kept the conductive channel open long enough to do the job. So the technology, which cost around 4 million euros to develop, will not replace a humble lightning rod anytime soon, but researchers see a clear future use case protecting rocket launch pads, airports, large sensitive infrastructure where conventional rods simply can't cover enough area. The age of laser lightning protection may only just be beginning. So that's fascinating because especially if it costs $4 million just to make this, it's going to be a while before that trickle-down theory. You could just kind of pop a laser on top of your barn and just keep, your whole field, safe from lightning strike and fire. Fantastic idea, because using the laser to give the lightning that path to ground easier, kind of makes it cool, and then using that technology to protect rocket launch pads, airports, sensitive infrastructure like, power stations, that is something that we could really kind of start to manipulate nature. As odd as that sounds, that's like the journey to Type 1 civilization, people. It's how we get there, you know? You got to be able to manipulate nature. So check one, lightning, done, son. We got that checked out. But we're going to check out this next story. A preserved medieval notebook from about 700 years ago was found in a latrine. And it offers a rare, intimate glimpse into everyday life. So, a remarkable medieval notebook preserved in a latrine has given historians a rare and intimate glimpse into everyday life into the Middle Ages. Unlike grand manuscripts produced for kings, churches, and wealthy practitioners, this humble notebook appeared to have been a practical working document, the kind of object people actually used, carried, and relied on in daily life. Its accidental preservation is what makes it so extraordinary. Latrines can preserve organic materials, wood, leather, parchment, and even paper like writing surfaces in surprisingly good condition, sealing them away from oxygen and decay for centuries. In what was once a routine place of disposal is turned into a time capsule, protecting a fragile fragment of medieval thought that would have otherwise vanished completely. Finds like this remind us that history is not only written in cathedrals, castles, and royal archives, but it is also buried in the smallest, most ordinary places, where the forgotten note, the shopping list, a tally, or a personal reflection can survive long enough to speak across the centuries. So, it seems pretty logical as I snip this so you guys can see the book that was found in the latrine. Call it Poop Book. Yeah, but the Poop Book here, preserved for 700 years, and it was just this guy's daily, your daily sketch pad, daily write pad, Jacob owes me $20, how many tallies, how many times that bird shit on his head, whatever it is, there was that kind of thing, that kind of need for everybody. I got thousands of pads all around me, and how easy would it be for one of them to just fall in a latrine? Well, if I was just, as I mentioned on the Lugnuts podcast, ironically, I was just petting an alpaca recently at an event, and they had the porta potties. And, it's the same thing right there. If you ever been to an event and used a porta potty, you know how easy it is to just drop it into the blue nothingness. And I'm sure everybody has their stories. I don't, because I keep my crap on me in places that won't fall. All right? That's called being prepared, son. A lot like you should be prepared for this next story. Studies confirm that blushing is the only human emotion that cannot be faked or suppressed. You can fake a smile. You can fake tears. You cannot fake a blush. Psychology reveals that blushing is not only emotional response, so it is completely involuntary, visible proof that your body is feeling something that your brain cannot hide. No actor, no liar, no poker player, poker player, how about that one, can control it. And here's what makes blushing unique. Blushing is controlled by the synaptic nervous system, the same system that triggers fight or flight. But unlike sweating or a racing heart, blushing specifically affects the face and your neck. You cannot will it to happen. You cannot will it to stop. It bypasses your consciousness, your conscious brain entirely. When you blush, your body is telling the truth, even when your mouth is not. So even if you are lying, your face is telling the truth. The science behind the unbeatable blush is fascinating. Blushing is triggered by the sudden release of adrenaline, which causes blood vessels in your face to widen. with the fill of blood. This response is linked to self-consciousness and social awareness, uniquely human emotions. No other animal blushes. No, the fact that you cannot control it suggests that blushing evolved as an honest signal of remorse, embarrassment, or romantic interest. You cannot fake authenticity. That is the entire point. Stop trying to hide your blush. It is your body's built-in honesty system. When you turn red, people instinctively trust you more because they know you cannot fake it. Wear it like a badge. A blush is not weakness. It is proof that you are real. So that's one of the things with me, man. You know my emotion on my face because when my head just turns red, the whole thing, you know, whenever the blood vessels start rushing into your face because they're widening up, that my whole face turns red like a big red street light. So it's a big sign is what the point of my story, not my face, but it's a sign that your body is, you know, letting out that emotion, which was linked to remorse, embarrassment, or romantic interest. A lot of people know the romantic interest side of that, but remorse or embarrassment, those two are also part of the old blushing syndrome there. So you may blush, you may not, but you may want to keep yourself right there for this next story. A woman poses at a Costco as a sample employee, hands out her own meatballs to unsuspecting shoppers. Oh, you know I had to have a funny one towards the end. I never disappoint. She wore a Dollar Tree shower cap as a hairnet and a badge that read Meatball Manager, unofficial in parentheses, and spent 4 hours inside a Costco in Glendale, Arizona, serving shoppers from her own crock pot. Sienna Halverson, 31, had set up a full folding table operation. Her meatballs were branded Grandma's Defiance. She had a Venmo sign, business card, Halverson Hospitality, and was upselling a $14 marinara on the side. When the staff finally approached her, she told them it was a soft launch with regional superior sauce. Her cart still had 11 extra jars and a handwritten note reading, "Dream big, simmer long." By the time she was arrested, because of course she was arrested, you cannot do that, she had served 220 meatballs to unsuspecting Costco members. My God. That is probably either the most brilliant marketing move of all time or probably the dumbest fucking thing you could have ever done and the stupidest thing you could have gotten arrested for. I mean, this is coming after a store, you know, microwave and a microwave, move over. I'm going to sell my own meatballs at Costco. I'm not going to get their approval. See, that's what I'm telling you, kids. Confidence. Fake it till you make it. Get that confidence in there. She was upselling $14 marinara. I guarantee you it wasn't a giant jug of marinara. It wasn't a Costco-sized marinara. That's where she went wrong. She probably had a little cup of marinara for $14, and those people said, absolutely, give me them meaty balls. Put them right in my mouth. So, you know, she still had 11 jars. And I love her note. Dream big, simmer long. She was there for 4 hours. Confidently for 4 hours with her own branded Grandma's Defiance. My God. So we know where she got her Defiance from. It was Grandma. And she put it literally on the sign. Wow. Yeah. It's so interesting. And it's Arizona too. So, you know, I mean, maybe it's that dry heat. I don't know. But that was definitely the positive story that I wanted to end off this podcast with, because my God, if you're not doing that bad, you're not doing that bad at all. You're doing good. You're surviving. You didn't sell 220 meatballs to unsuspecting Costco members without having somebody federally look at that and say you're allowed. It's fine. It's fine. You'll do fine. You'll do fine. You're not doing that. So you got that going for you. Check out the YouTube page for Perjangers and Wallhangers Media Network. We have that out there, and it is massive, baby. We got a bunch of videos on there for Mattcast, Lug Nuts, silly little podcast, and more. We have the shorts and reels out on our social medias. Facebook.com/Perjangers, and that's where you're going to find us at the Perjangers and Wallhangers Media Network. We're going to have some screenings for Delco or Bust coming up soon, and we'll let you know as soon as we have them locked in, because until the next Mattcast, we love you, we miss you, and we can't wait to see you then. Until next time, game on and drive on, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Bye.
A little bit of a staticky. Yeah, that noise in the background means it's summertime, gang. Oh, yeah. Summertime in the Perjanger house. Get my my in-between stories drink. Usually changes. Especially because I'm another year alcohol-free.
Bye.